What's up guys, this is your iPadPro and welcome to another video. So I'm nearing 100 subscribers and it's almost the 4th of July. So I feel like celebrating with coffee. Anyway, I figured I'll just do, maybe let's do some fireworks on the iPadPro. And we're gonna do that using Alight motion. Enough delays, let's hop right on it. Let's go ahead and open Alight motion. And let's make a new project. Let's do 4K, 30 FPS, black background. Yeah, this looks good. Let's name this iPadPro Fireworks. Create project. And let's get started. Let's begin by creating our first particle. And to do that, we're just gonna go here into shape. And let's just select maybe the sun right here. Let's go to color and fill. Click yellow right here. Let's also just set this whole thing to 5 seconds. So to do that, we're just going to drag this end right here and wait until it reaches 5 and then right there. Okay, so we have 5 seconds of the sun. Let's go ahead and scale this down. Let's go to move and transform and then go to scale. And let's just reduce this whole thing. Maybe let's do a small 50 pixels. Let's do that. Okay, so we have our particle right here. It's pretty small. Let's go into effects, add effect, and let's move down to repeat, and we're gonna choose this scatter repeat. So this plugin is actually a members only plugin. So it is a paid option, but you know, nothing's really free in this world. Okay, let's go ahead and add that scatter repeat by pressing the plus sign right here. Cool. So right now there's nothing going on, so we have to set up some keyframes and let's play around and see what this plugin does in the first place. Okay, so scatter repeat. That's just, okay, this is the count. So we'll set the count to maybe, let's just set it to the maximum 150. The radius, okay, this seems like the one that we should be keyframing. You see like a nice explosion right there. It goes as far as 2000 on the radius. So let's go ahead and keyframe the radius. And to do that, we're gonna go here. Make sure you're on the radius option on your plugin. Let's click the plus sign for the keyframe. You can see that it added a keyframe right there. Okay, and then let's move. So fireworks is more of like a burst. So it's like whoosh, pretty quick, just a few frames. So let's go ahead and move maybe. So this comp is 30 frames per second. So I think maybe 10 frames should do it. Okay, let's move forward 10 frames. You can see it right there. Let's go back to our effects and our scatter repeat and our radius, and let's just go maybe 1000. Cool. And as you can see, since we moved our parameters over on this window, it automatically created a keyframe for us right there. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick. I feel like the 10 frames was just right. It gave us that right amount of explosion. Let's make sure we didn't move. Did we move this? Okay, undo. Okay, I accidentally moved that, but it's a good thing we can undo. Okay, now we're back in the center, 1920 and 1080 position. And is there a way to lock this? I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to our effect. Go back to scatter repeat. And go back to our radius. And let's just animate this whole thing up until the end. And put this at 2000. So it slowly gets bigger and bigger throughout the course of the composition. Let's go ahead and play that. Cool. All right. So the next thing we want to do is maybe we should add some kind of ease here. So if you're in between two keyframes like this, our 1000 radius and our 2000 radius. If you're in between these two keyframes, we can actually toggle this button right here, and it's going to give us control over our easing. So what we want is, after the initial explosion, it's just going to move gradually and then eventually slow down. So this should be our graph for this one. You see it moves gradually and then it starts to slow down. Let's go ahead and check that animation out. Yeah. Awesome. So after the initial explosion, fireworks usually explode and then they start to fall down. So let's add that position keyframe, and let's do that by going here on Moves Transform. Make sure we start at maybe 2.5 seconds. It starts to move down. So let's add a keyframe here. Make sure you're in this position. And let's move up to the end. Let's click here and then drag down. I'm going to use my Apple Pencil, but just so you know, I'm in this window. And if you move the position on this window, you can see that we have some snapping going on. Let's maybe move it up to here. Okay, let's check that out. And it's going to start to slowly move down. Okay, I feel like that move down should be starting from the initial explosion. So let's go ahead and click and hold this keyframe. And then let's move it back. You can see the where our time code right here. So we're going to move it back at 10 frames right there. Let's go ahead and check this animation out. We're going to add some easing in our position because I think it starts slow and then it gradually moves down. Let's go ahead here. Make sure you're in between the two position keyframes. Let's go to this button right here, and then let's choose this one. Let's check that out, see how that looks. Cool. I think that's good enough for now. All right. So we want our particles to start fading away or getting smaller as time goes by. So let's go back to our effect, scatter repeat, and let's see what kind of options we have here. Evolution, radius count, seed, offset, angle, scale. Let's go check out scale. So the scale in the scatter repeat plugin, it's more of a random scale operator for the plugin. So that's not what we're really looking for, but it's good that we have some variety. We're just going to take off our keyframes right here because we don't really want to keyframe that. But I'm going to do a 0 on that so we have more randomness in our scale for our particles. If we go to move and transform and go to scale, yeah, this is what we want actually. So it's not scaling the entire layer, it's scaling just the element, the main element. It's not affecting the plugin. So this is what we want. Let's just go ahead and undo that. And let's keyframe it from frame 10. Click that and then move forward. And let's go all the way to 0. Let's check out that animation. Cool. Okay, what else can we do to improve this one? I feel like this is a bit slow, so I'm just going to move the keyframes back a little. Maybe I want it to end at frame 8. So let's go ahead and move all our keyframes from this frame right here to 8. I'm just going to go ahead and click this, move it back. Let's check our position. Yeah, move that. What else did we keyframe? We keyframed our effect, our count, no, our radius. Yeah, let's move that. And I think that's it, right? We don't see any more keyframes here. Let's go ahead and check that. Let's go ahead and check out that animation. So let's also add a little bit of motion blur to make it all seem really cool. Let's go to blur and then motion blur. This one is a standard plugin, so you don't have to pay for motion blur. Ooh, we're lagging a little bit. This is the M1 iPad Pro, guys. You want to see how to push their iPad Pro? Do it like this. I'm going to turn that off for now because we can't see our animation. But rest assured that plugin's in there. Let's also add a bit of randomness to our scatter repeat plugin. Let's play around with it a little more. Evolution, what's this? Ooh. Okay, let's keyframe evolution starting from 8. Keyframe that, move all the way to the end. We don't want it to go too crazy, so maybe just 0.5. Let's check that out. Yee, that's too much. Okay, let's move back here. Let's maybe reduce this to 0.1. See how that looks. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Okay, so we have one layer now. Let's go ahead and add another particle and do the same thing with it. Let's pick a shape and let's choose this one right here. Looks like a star. Color and fill. Let's make it white. Let's put the scale down to maybe 50 pixels in diameter. It should be fine. Make sure that it extends all the way to the end. So grab that, pull it back, make sure it's up to 5 seconds. And let's go ahead and copy the effect that we have here. Let's click that first shape, go to effects, copy effects. Oh, I can copy everything. That's nice. Go back to your shape 2 and paste effects. Oh yeah. And as you can see, it also pasted those keyframes. But we need a little more randomization for this since this is our second layer. So we're just gonna pick a random seed. Maybe that one. Let's see if our scale, does this scale down? No. Okay, so we have to scale this down starting from frame 8. Go to scale, move and transform, and then scale. Put a keyframe, move to the end, and then put that to 0. Let's go ahead and check that out. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and add one more, and I'm going to do the same thing. And let's check out our animation. Yeah, the iPad is starting to lag right now. Anytime you have particle effects in motion graphics, pretty sure you're gonna lag eventually. Since it's almost the 4th of July, I'm just gonna go ahead and change the colors to red, white, and blue. We have our bomb layer. Let's go to color and fill. Let's pick red. And let's go to our shape 2. Let's make this blue. And for our first shape, let's make that white. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the motion blur for these layers, and we're going to render it out and put it in LumaFusion. So let me go ahead and do that. So while we're rendering this graphics, if you like this video so far, make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you. I'm also recording my screen on the iPad, so that might contribute to why the iPad is lagging. But the M1 iPad Pro should be able to handle it. I mean, I've been doing it all the time. The true test of the M1 iPad Pro. Okay, so the motion blur effect wasn't really working for the individual particles. It was working only when I moved the whole thing downwards. That's the only thing that the motion blur effect is reading. So I'm just going to delete that and live with no motion blur, I guess. Let's go ahead and render that out. See, the render is much more faster now without that motion blur. I would love to have it there, but if it's not working as it should, I'd rather not. Now we're going to hop into LumaFusion and see what we can do with this render. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is let's just grab a video. Let's just pick any video for now. This is just a sample. And we're going to navigate to our fireworks render right here. Drop it in. And we're just going to double tap on that. And let's start to key out the blacks. Dark Luma key. Then we have our dark Luma key. We can adjust this as needed. Okay, let's move this back a little bit. Cool, so we have our red, white, and blue fireworks right here. And that's it. So there you go, guys. That's making fireworks using Alight motion all on the iPad Pro. Is it better than just using Trapcode Particular in After Effects? No, but if you want some custom particle animation on the iPad Pro, you're away from your Mac or your PC, I think this is the way to go. And I think for most people, it's good enough to learn. Anybody can do this on the iPad. That's the whole point of this channel, is to see what things we can do on the iPad Pro. I think this is a good option. So if anybody who doesn't have experience doing motion graphics professionally wants to try this out on maybe even an older version of the iPad, they can totally do it. Alight motion is no match for After Effects or any professional apps. But for what I'm doing for my channel and just doing these things for fun, I think this is really good. Thank you guys for sticking around. This is your iPadPro. If you like this video, click that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, click subscribe. Bye!